stressful watching the constant ups and downs of the markets. That's life on Wall Street. So today we decided to take a breath and start fresh. We asked First Financial's Chris Hagedorn to help. He's with Courier Market Engagement Director Kelly Snyder.
Thanks, Kyla. Chris, thanks so much for being here again.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So sometimes market news flow can be exhausting. What advice would you give to clients who are feeling that way?
Yeah, so my advice would be to get back to the basics and focus on some longer term investing concepts. And, one of the most underappreciated, in my opinion, often forgotten is the power of compounding effect, which is how money accumulates over time with the idea of interest compounding on itself. And the impact of this effect is probably best illustrated in chart form. So if we look at the chart here, you'll notice the blue line begins to bend up more steeply over time. And intuitively, if this chart were a stock, you'd want to own it. But if you believe in disciplined long-term investing, that trajectory can be very real. Now, as you can see in this example, again, we're using some underlying assumptions here, but you'll notice it takes about 20 years to get to that first $1 million threshold. It takes only half of that time to get to the next $1 million threshold, giving credence to the old cliche, your first million is always the hardest, but that's the power of compounding effect in action. And we always like to say, it's not timing the market perfectly that matters most, but rather time in the market that makes the biggest difference to your net worth.
So as we're getting closer to year end, what's one thing you would recommend that someone do?
Yeah, so I just talked about the power of compounding. Now I'm going to talk about the power of self-reflection. So this is a great time of year to do a little self-reflecting and ask yourself the question, what am I really trying to accomplish as I think about my financial future? Now, obviously that answer is going to be unique to each individual, but at its core, most of us are trying to figure out the following. Number one, what's my number? What number am I trying to get to? And when do I need to get there? Number two, what's my spending rate once I do get there? And number three, what risk am I willing and able to accept along the way? Now, of course, what we're really talking about here are the building blocks of doing and reviewing a financial plan once a year. And that's so critically important to understanding what your starting point is for your investment portfolio. So this exercise is really all about setting that proper baseline and figuring out that starting point, which is one of the most critically important factors in determining how successful you'll be in achieving your goals. So again, a great time of year to ask yourself, what am I trying to accomplish?
Well, that makes perfect sense. We look forward to hearing from you again in a few weeks. Thanks again for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.